So I was reading some comments on a Death Note video for I love Death Note. I really do. One of the greatest animes of all time. One of the best. One of the best animes of all time. Light Yagami, Kira. Um I was reading some of the comments and it was on the episode Father. Um this badass motherfucker right here is Light's dad, Soichiro Yagami. And this dude, he's like one of the coolest anime dads and characters, you know, ever. So this is from the episode Father. He makes an ideal with Ryuk because they're about to storm where Mello is, try to take back the Death Note and hopefully try to get Mello. But of course, the place is rigged with explosives. The guy, Soichiro kind of corners Mello, and they have an exchange back and forth. And the guy on the ground ends up shooting him in the back, literally shooting him in the back. He's wearing armor. You can like plate armor, but it still goes through. So he still takes severe damage to from the bullets. And then he dies in the hospital. So he makes this ideal, right? So Ryuk says that basically the way the ideal works, you give up half of your remaining lifespan. So if you were supposed to live 60 more years, you'll only live 30. 50 years, 25. A year will only be 6 months. This guy made the ideal, and he died within an hour. His lifespan was cut in half, and he died an hour or so after making this ideal, which means he actually only had very little time left remaining to begin with. Which brings up the question, how would he have died? How was he originally supposed to die? Because him making the ideal, that changed the way he was going to die. Instead of dying however he was going to within the next day or two, it was changed to him dying trying to confront Mello. So how was Soichiro supposed to die originally? What? Because no one thinks about that part with the whole cutting the life in half. Again, Ryuk said it very clearly. If you're supposed to, you make an ideal, right? If you were supposed to live for another 60 years, you're only gonna have 30. This dude made a deal and died within an hour, or we really don't know the whole the span of time, but within a couple of hours. Within a couple of hours, we'll just say. Because we don't know how long it took to get to Mello, where Mello was hiding. We don't know how long it took to storm the front door. We don't know how long it took to find him, because we're seeing it in a bite-sized, consumable, visually reduced format. They're not going to show every step of the way. We're not going to see the entire time. So we're seeing the most important parts of it. We don't know how long they were there. For us, the viewer, it's kind of like Dragon Ball Z with the fights. People are wondering why, oh, these people are so fast. How are we seeing them punching? Because the animators have to, draw it to be slowed down so that way we can see it. What we were actually supposed to see is kind of like with the bystanders, just flashes of light or not seeing anything. That's how they're actually fighting. But us seeing the punches and the kicks and this and that, for us, fights take couple episodes. For them, it literally takes just a few minutes. Like, think about the Tournament of Power. It was like, what, 40 minutes? 40 minutes is all they had. So anime time is very different. Just time in movies, TVs is just different anyway. So assuming it was just a couple of hours, this dude would have had like a day or two left at most. What would he have originally died from? We know that he had no problem taking his own life. He outright said that, if he found out that Light was Kira, that he wouldn't know what he would do, that he would most likely, take out Light and then take out himself, just from the shame of it all, the shame and the hurt and So he outright said that he probably would take his own life. But in this case, assuming everything went to plan, unless Mello had no problem killing anyone, Mello had no problem with possibly killing Sayu, would Mello end up somehow kidnapping, abducting Soichiro and essentially murdering him to kind of prove that he's not messing around? It's like, I need the notebook. I want, you know, they got they had Mello had the notebook, which is why they stormed the place, stormed in the first place. So no, they had the notebook. So possible he could have gone there, or they could have abducted him, and then taken him out because they see him as a threat. Because he's, so they could have taken him out the way they took out, was it the FBI director? No, actually, no, that wasn't Mello, wasn't it? I think that was actually Light. But yeah, it could have been abduction. But either way, this dude was going to die soon. If he didn't die confronting Mello, if he didn't make that ideal, he still would have only had a few days left. But I'm curious as to what would have killed him. It's like Misa. Misa was originally supposed to die from that stalker. She was supposed to get stabbed. She was supposed to get stabbed and die. But then Jealous jumped in, and saved Misa. And basically that changed her fate to where she would die at a different date, and her death would be different. But then she, once again, when she couldn't remember L's name, she made another deal. Instead of with Rem, she made it with Ryuk, cutting her lifespan in half yet again. And then we see her at the end of the series on top of the building. Very much implied that she jumped because she said herself she couldn't live in a world without light. So once she made that deal with Ryuk, her fate changed again. So instead of dying of some other cause, she made the deal with Ryuk, and so her fate was to basically herself by throwing herself off a building. So every time you have your set fate, like Misa's her set fate was she was supposed to get stabbed. That was her fate. That was what destiny had for her. But then when Jealous jumped in and wrote the guy's name down, it changed. And it changed to something else. And we never got to really see what that was, because her fate changed once again after she made the ideal with Ryuk for this, made the second ideal. Because, she lost her memories, she gave up her notebook, she no longer had the Shinigami eyes. So her fate changed again to a different time, different date, and a different death. So for Soichiro, we know how he died. We know what fate changed to in order to kill him. He got shot many times. And then at least he was able to die in the hospital, surrounded by the people who cared about him. Apart from Light, people are still debating. Manga Light and anime Light are completely different. In the manga, I think, he's crying or pretending to cry. And he's calling his dad a fool and all that, like in his mind and stuff. But in the anime, they try to make Light more sympathetic. Hence why they changed the ending. Instead of him groveling on the ground, begging Ryuk not to kill him, they show a more sympathetic side with the, kind of what led up to what he is now. And they give him a more sympathetic death. So in the anime, you can debate that while, yes, he was Kira, he did have some ounce of remorse and sadness. That, yes, he did want his dad to kill Mello, and he's pissed off that his dad didn't do what he was supposed to, but it is still his father, and you can maybe see some sort of, real tears realizing that his father is now dead. But this is also the same guy who's like, I may have to kill Sayu, which he had to turn on the in the bathroom. He had to turn the sink on, and he was contemplating, and you could tell the way he was talking. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll just kill her." He's like, "If things go bad, I might have to kill my sister." And he was saying in a way that it's like, I don't want to, but I might have to. So the light from the anime and the manga are very different. But yeah, at least he got to die around people. But again, what would he have died from? I would love to hear what people think about this, because I'm not the only one who's realized this. I mean, other people have commented about it, saying, yeah, if he died an hour or two or however long after he made the ideal, he only had like a couple days left to live. What would have killed him? What was Soichiro Yagami's original death going to be? So, but this badass motherfucker right here, one of the coolest guys in his in anime history. When you think of what a man is, this is a man right there. Cares about his family, protects them, serves his city. He does everything a man should. Caring father, stern but fair, wants the best for his children, does what's right regardless of how much pressure people give him, put on him. Morals are great, extremely intelligent. Like, when you think of a man, this guy right here, he's a man. If people are looking for an anime guy to strive to be, in real life, morals, this is it. This is a man. Which is why when his death happened, it was so hard, because he's such a good character. One of the few who believe that Light wasn't Kira, along with Matsuda. But, we saw what happened with that. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear the creative ways that you think Soichiro was originally supposed to, how he was supposed to die. Had he not made the idea with Ryuk, and his lifespan wasn't cut in half to only an hour or a couple of hours at most, he was going to die anyway in a couple of days or a day or so. What do you think would have killed him? Let me know. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.